The first preserved railway to carry passengers was the Talyllyn in 1951, a narrow-gauge line in Wales on the southern edge of the Snowdonia National Park that transported minerals. The Bluebell Railway, a standard gauge line from East Grinstead to Sheffield Park in Sussex, reopened in sections to passengers in 1960, following closure by British Rail in 1958. Trains are a childhood passion. I travelled on mainline routes during the final days of steam in the late 1950s and early 60s, witnessing the arrival of diesel locomotives. The gradual disappearance of steam locomotives occurred around the same time as the Beeching Report in 1963 that closed many lines as an unintended byproduct, the preserved or heritage railway run by volunteers, igniting my interest in photographing them from an early stage. Today I use Micro Four Thirds digital cameras. The technical benefits of the format have become immeasurable for continuing my railway passion in addition to landscape and architecture and in particular video as shown already. I also photographed today's trains with this system. I used several OMD cameras, principally the EM1 Marks 1 and 2 with the 12-100 Pro lens, but also the 14-150 and 12-50, and later the OM5 with the 12-45 Pro lens. Some images and videos are taken with the Pen F and 17mm f1.8 prime lens, very handy in low light. One of the OMD's greatest qualities is image stabilization for hand holding, essential for a dynamic subject like railways. You have to consider other people and not just photographers. Suddenly they enter the scene, which you may not want, and then there is the extended depth of field, keeping everything sharp. I even handheld the videos. Image stabilization is also essential for low light at 200 ISO. These are of Hosted Keynes Station on the Bluebell Railway. I spot metered and adjusted shadows in Adobe Lightroom as the dynamic range of the shot is dramatically increased when including an exterior in the composition. The OMD range of Olympus cameras and later OM system were renowned for their effective protection against inclement weather. No need for a plastic bag. Well, within reason. Whilst I usually photograph heritage railways on lovely sunny days, they can look more romantic and nostalgic in wet weather, creating an atmosphere where all you need is Miss Marple or Poirot to magically appear. Now these were taken on the Bluebell Railway and MC and Bolton Abbey Steam Railway near Skipton. Photography is not any easier on lovely sunny days. Beware of heavy shadows. Black locomotives are notoriously difficult to photograph, especially when they are moving. Why? Well, underexposed detail can easily black out, so my general rule of spot metering or center weighted with an electronic finder is important for achieving a correct overall exposure, which may still have to be adjusted in post-production. Matrix or pattern may pick up too much information from highlights, causing underexposed shadows to be beyond redemption. I try to avoid taking photos that involve the public, but if included, a general view may be acceptable, and preferably with your unplanned audience facing the other way. It would be reasonable to assume that photographing a railway staff to be okay when carrying out their duties, but she appears to be saying, "I think he is taking our picture." I have never been challenged, but don't get too close, so a telephoto to the fore? Candid cameo shots can often produce the most natural photos. Many stations display vintage posters, some in private quarters, but worth a quick snap if no one is around, and perhaps taking notice of. Before leaving home, conduct research, and not just about the railway. Topography is important. Now, I consult Ordnance Survey maps to check nearby footpaths, particularly where the engine is working up an incline. A favourite is the overbridge north of Horsted Kane Station on the Bluebell Railway, and a train approaching Goathland Station on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. Digital cameras of recent manufacture can now handle video at a quality that can be successfully combined with still images in AV productions intended here for YouTube. With this short program, I have used several OMD and pen cameras for visuals and sound. Featured are Severn Valley, Bluebell, Midhants and Swanage Heritage Railways.